This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage, very special edition from Doubleday Field in Cooperstown, New York. Hall of Fame Classic gets underway this weekend. David Eckstein is up there, one of the former players, All-Star and World Series champion. David, thanks for being with us.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So I hope somebody has briefed you about what's about to go down. I'm going to do my best to get fans involved in the conversation. We'll go to social media when we have to. But you'll be taking some cuts. Do you feel you're up to the task of wrangling these fans?
Oh, it's going to be tough, but yes, I'm ready for whatever they have.
All right, so let's get to it. These, it's Twitter, so don't hold me personally responsible for any questions.
Gotcha, no problem.
This first one is from AMU02. David, did you ever tire of hearing questions about your lack of size?
At some point in time, it definitely gets a little tired. You know, I am what I am. I'm barely 5'7". Luckily, this game, it lets you go out there and play. But, yeah, that's the first thing everyone usually starts off the conversation with, how small I am.
I'm sorry. Again, it was Twitter. I just had to do it Twitter. I'm just run by the machine that is social media. So we'll stay with that. Fans, get your webcams fired up. Help me out. Now, let's go. People that talk about you in the clubhouse definitely talk about how good-natured you are and what an asset you were to the club. So let's flip it and see if maybe you were a prankster. This is from Lyan2-075. What was the best prank you ever pulled?
Best prank I ever pulled? Golly. I was a pot stirrer, so I was the one guy that would go up and hey, did you hear what he said about you or something like that? I was that type of guy. Mm-hmm. What is the best prank? I can tell you the best prank pulled on me.
Excellent.
I'm very cheap, and so I did not buy myself a new car. So I bought my mom a new car, and I took her car. So the guys would give me a hard time driving what I was driving, and so Scott Spezio, one time after a road trip in St. Louis, actually had my car. He put spinners on my wheels. So we got off the road trip, and I had a white Avalon with spinners on it. So that was one of the pranks that was pulled on me.
That's pretty good. I got to say, that's pretty solid right there.
They were plastic spinners. They weren't real, so I couldn't really go resell them or anything.
That's almost even better. Like he's got spinners.
It was.
Not real quality.
They're fake ones.
This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. David Eckstein will answer your questions. Get your webcam fired up. Join us here on the show, just like this fan right here. What's your name? Where you're from? What's your question for David?
I'm John from Brentwood, California. If you could create one ridiculous rule for Major League Baseball, what would it be?
Huh.
Was that ridiculous rule?
One ridiculous rule, yeah.
One ridiculous rule.
One ridiculous. That's a great question. The rule that I would create, let me see. Golly, I would go something crazy that you had the ability to, you got one free pass to a hitter to say, no, we don't want to face it. He's automatically out in a key situation.
You can play that once.
Only one time. It's like, or you have the like when you're playing like Nintendo and you have the ability to do that power button. Okay, I step up to the plate. I can actually have the power, and my bat's going to explode when I hit the ball. The ball is automatically a home run if I make contact. Like something like that.
I love it. Like make the walls retractable, so for one at bat, you can bring him into like 150 feet all the way around.
50 feet. There you go. That's a great one.
I'm writing that one down. I'm pitching that at the next big owners meeting. By the way, I think we got a good shot.
Next owners meeting. I'll be your sponsor.
We're in great shape. We know you can pitch too. We've seen some of your video work as the Parks and Recs response as well. People know via video how that works.
Yeah. Definitely. That was fun.
All right, let's go back to Twitter and let's stick with Phil07. Who's the toughest pitcher you've ever faced?
Who's the toughest pitcher I ever faced? The one that was hardest for me that I struck out the most against was actually Jonathan Sanchez. He had a slider that I just did not see, and I would swing at it. The ball would almost be behind me half the time, and that's who basically gave me the hardest time.
The pitcher that gave you fits. There you have it. Now let's go to the other side. This is why I love how we do this chatting cage. Just fired up on Twitter. BTerrell17. David, how did it feel to hit those 3 grand slams in 2002? In particular, the walk-off one.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely thrilling. It's not part of my game, and having it happen the way it did on that night, it felt good. You know, just trying to get a hit to win the game, and it went out. And then the following day, in the second at bat, doing it again, it was something that don't try to do, but definitely amazing.
That was certainly one of the great highlights in baseball, that particular run. Now, you've been a part of 2 championship teams, 2 different ones, 02 and 06. For you, though, in particular, and also the first ever winner of the Heart and Hustle Award in 2005. For those folks that may be physically giant or physically small, in any way, what's been the small things you've worked on just to be both heart and hustle and a champion?
The biggest thing, like just within the baseball, is learning the game. So I practice very hard on laying down bunts, learning back control, learning on defense, being in the right place at the right time, what the situation called for. So that's something I really practice hard on, especially at a young age. And then going forward, just the mental aspect that you're never going to give up. This is a game of failure, and as soon as you come to a realization and learn how to deal with failure, that's when you actually succeed in this game. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing that led me to be able to have the career I had.
Those are great insights, David. Thanks for sharing that with us in terms of what it takes in those small ways to succeed in the bigger picture, because you can't do all the big stuff at once. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Fans get a chance to talk to David Eckstein. Here's one now. What's your name? Where you're from? What's your question for David?
Hey, David. I'm Mike, and I'm Texas. I was just wondering if you ever would want to be a coach.
Thanks, Mike, for the question. It definitely is probably at some point in time it will probably happen. Right now I'm helping my wife right now, but you can find me at a local high school. I help out the Angels also, but this summer help selecting the 18 and under USA baseball team. So definitely at some point in time I'll see myself in that role. I'm just trying to learn my craft right now, because so many guys try to jump right back in and they only know how they did it. So you're just trying to figure out how you can teach everybody so they can be successful.
This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. David Eckstein fielding fans' questions, taking his cuts here in the cage. Let's go back to Twitter. This one from JRBNOC. Did you ever want your own rally monkey?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Funny story. We went to opening day this past year in Anaheim, and my brother just had his first child. And so she was at that time, 10 months old, and we take her right into this team store, and the first thing she picked was the rally monkey. So yes, it's something that's addicting. I'm not good with animals. We travel way too much to have at the house, but if someone else had it, I would definitely go visit it.
I go to social media, and David, you'll have to help me understand it, because obviously there are huge fans of yours that know all aspects of what's going on with you. This is from the Zubias. David, love your book, Have Heart. PFKS. My older kids remember that time, and my younger 2 are inspired by you. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yes, that definitely does. In 2002, after winning the World Series, I was approached to do part of a book series. There was a lot of great athletes that was part of the series. It was positively for kids, and so we produced a book called Have Heart. And then after the 06 series, we just update it with the St. Louis information. But it just tells you my life story from a kid getting to where I was able to, be able to become a Major League Baseball player. But my life story through all the kidney failures from my father, my oldest brother, my 2 sisters, and just showing that you never give up, that if you have a dream, you work hard. So that's where that book came from.
Here we go. David, this is from David A. What is the weirdest superstition you have ever seen or heard from a baseball player in your career? Don't name names.
Well, if you're in a slump, you're supposed to kind of do something on your hands in the bathroom to get you out of the slump. All right. That's probably the weirdest one that I've ever heard of. I know guys that have done it. And if they're watching this, they know who I'm talking about.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Were you a particularly superstitious guy?
I don't like the word superstition. I could call it routine.
Okay.
So yes.
And you had a lot of routines.
Yeah, I had a lot of routine. I could give you my schedule from when I woke up until I went to bed was pretty much pre-planned.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I think it'd be hard to argue with the success of that. So I think if those routines, not superstitions, those routines were on target. Looks like they worked out pretty well.
Thank you.
This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. David Eckstein from Cooperstown, saying hello to fans. We got a fan with us.
Yeah.
What's your name? Where are you from? What's your question for David?
Hi, my name's Matt. I'm from Pennsylvania. David, you were in the game for a long time. Just wondering, what was your favorite part about playing in the game?
Other than winning the World Series both times, those are the best thing. But it's so fun to be in the locker room, the camaraderie with the guys, having the ability to go out there and accomplish something great. You know, that is truly and being part of a team. Golly, the ability to compete with 25 guys that's what's thrilling and which makes the game fun.
This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. That is David Eckstein fielding fans' questions. And one thing we like to touch on this one before we go, just sort of get the collective of those who have succeeded in baseball as they go back and who inspired them. So in the game of baseball, when you were growing up, who's your favorite player, David?
My favorite player was actually Dale Murphy.
Yeah. What about it? What about him was right?
What about him was right? He was a good person on and off the field. I actually loved the home run ball. I love when he came up to bat. His swing, the ability to play outfield. I know he started out as a catcher, but then moved to center field. I just liked what he did and what he stood for.
All right. Well, that is a good one to wrap up this round of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. You feel you made good contact, Dave?
Yeah, going okay. Going okay. How do you think I did?
I think you did phenomenal. I think we got some dents in the fences around here. We're going to have to fix it and get the machine worked out. Are you excited for the Hall of Fame Classic that you're up there for? Which roster are you part of?
I think I'm on the Angels, so I think that's the American League. They haven't really explained too much to us, so I think we're just showing up, and so we'll see what happens tomorrow.
All right. That sounds good. Well, it's the 6th annual Hall of Fame Classic from up there in Cooperstown. The big 75th induction weekend is later in July. A great class going in. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. David, I want to thank you for being with us.
Appreciate it, JB. Thanks for having me.
And fans, as always, I want to thank you for being a part of it. It doesn't really work without you. So we'll see you next time on the Edward Jones Chatting Cage.